session of Aswan Peace Forum, Sustainable Development, that is held in the city of Aswan. That has embraced the first edition of the forum when we launched it together while Egypt presided over the African Union in the year 2019. And since then, the forum succeeded in inculcating its position as an African unique platform and an opportunity to discuss internal and external challenges that face our continent, and through which we can crystallize common and joint responses and visions that enhance the close link between peace and sustainable development, and supports the role of Africa as an effective partner in the international discussions on the future of cooperation, as well as global governance, peace and development building. Ladies and gentlemen, you are all aware that we are at a critical moment today, as we are witnessing deficit and shortcoming on part of the international community in facing major humanitarian crises, and we have seen double standards in protecting the principles and human values, as well as continuous violations of international law. And this led to the aggravation of international polarization that weakened the ability of the institutions, especially multilateral institutions, to do its role. And it prevented the efforts of its reform, in addition to the failure of the international community to meet its pledges regarding the developing countries, be it in reducing the burden of debts or in climate finance. Ladies and gentlemen, our African continent stands on top of those who are affected by these international developments, which contribute to igniting conflicts and violence, as well as increasing competition over resources and deepening the development challenges and hampering the peace and development process. This, besides the chronic diseases and renewed ones facing the continent, be it because of internal crises or external interventions that weaken the authority of the state, in addition to the spread of terrorism and the increase of irregular migration, in addition to organized crime and especially transnational and cross-border organized crime, as well as the cyber threats, in addition to climate change, which has negative direct effects on food and water security. Ladies and gentlemen, holding Aswan Forum this year under the slogan, "A world that is changing and a continent that's moving," the path of the development of Africa in light of international changes reflects clearly that Africa is at the heart of what the international system witnesses of the difficult tests. And in fact, there is an opportunity for Africa to be at the top front of those participating in the efforts to support the unity of the international system and to help it enjoy its credibility, as well as support the role of international communities and organizations in a more transparent manner. Despite the challenges and the difficult international conditions, Africa is full of a lot of elements, as well as wealth and human resources, and it has already taken important strides towards making benefit from these resources to support development in its countries, and launching the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is a prominent example of that, as it is a main pivot for the implementation of the African Development Agenda 2063. And due to all that, and due to this comprehensive vision for dealing with the challenges, the edition of this year of the forum highlights the most important security challenges in Africa and the best means to tackle them. Besides, the efforts for reconstruction and development in post-conflict areas, and this is the file that I'm honored to lead in the African Union, as well as supporting full implementation of the African new policy relevant to all that within the framework of achieving peace and sustainable development. In addition, this forum would discuss topics of investment in the infrastructure as well as strategic corridors and the role of the private sector and innovative partnerships in achieving development goals. And the forum would give special attention to women and youth, especially in light of the fact that this edition coincides with the 25th anniversary of Women, Peace and Security Agenda and the anniversary of the Youth, Peace and Security. At the end, I'm looking forward to your fruitful discussions over the coming 2 days that would be reflected in the outcomes that would be issued by the forum, and its implementation will be followed up during the next year. And I'm confident that our African continent is capable of protecting and achieving the aspirations of its peoples towards sustainable peace and security and development, and to live in a fair international system governed by human values and principles and governed by cooperation between all peoples. Thank you, and peace be upon you.
C'est donc du mot du président Abdel Fattah El-Sisi lors du lancement des travaux de la 5e version du Forum d'Aswan pour la paix et le développement.